there, everybody. I am Alexis Ward, and this is 12 Faces Psychology. So today's video is going to be about emotional transmutation. I have been prepping to make this video for a while now, and I've been kind of avoiding it because there's a lot of layers to this information. I'm going to put some slides up today to kind of walk you through the chakra system a little bit. Because in order to really work with your emotions at a deep level and to use the consciousness of your body to understand your emotional experience, you got to know a little bit about the chakra system. So first, I just want to talk a little bit about the body as a tool for understanding and being aware of your emotional experience. So, we are in these physical vehicles, and we're going through the process of experiencing ourselves in a sensate body that is also an energetic vehicle. So the human body is surrounded by a toroidal field. So an energetic field that in the central channel, the Sushumna, that's where the chakras lie. So the chakras are basically energetic focal points that contain different types of energetic experiences. Just as the rainbow has different colors, there are different colors associated with the different chakras. There are different kind of tones or vibrational frequencies associated with each of those vortexes of energy within the body. So understanding that the body is surrounded by this type of an electromagnetic energetic field will help you to understand the way that sensate emotion works. Because basically, this is pure consciousness energy, right? Just the energy of source flowing in, and if there's no blockage, if there's no resistance, if there's nothing to clean out with any of the chakras, which pretty much is not happening for anyone, right? Unless you're doing a lot of work, unless you're like meditating constantly, whatever you're doing, if you're there, that's beautiful. But most of us are still having conditioned emotional responses to things. Most of us are still having distortions of that pure consciousness energy. So in other words, pure consciousness energy will just be running freely through that system, allowing the experience of pure consciousness emotions in all the chakric focal points. However, it is when that energy gets distorted by our conditioned beliefs, by our self-doubt, by all of the stuff that tweaks us and twerks us to the left, to the right, whatever, that gets us kind of knotted up in that process of experiencing what we feel. And that's basically the human journey, right? Is learning to move yourself out of that state of distortion, out of that state of blockage, where what is pure consciousness and pure emotion becomes self-judgment, becomes self-doubt, becomes a conditioned emotional experience. So today, this video is really about learning to identify where your energy is getting distorted, using the physical body as a source of information for understanding that, learning to recognize what conditioned beliefs you have surrounding that particular chakra so that you can look at what is underlying that distortion, and then intentionally clearing whatever that energetic distortion is, and then consciously moving into the pure I am experience of what that chakric system has to offer. So let's get into this a little bit more in depth right now. All right, so I'm going to go through 5 basic steps to this process of transmuting an emotion. The first of those steps is what and where do you feel it in your body? So do a body scan, right? Let's say you're having a day where you have really high anxiety. And I think that that's something that is up for most people on the planet right now. And oftentimes that's like a subconscious experience because we're dealing with so much collective anxiety. And so even if you don't have anything specifically going on in your life right now, you may be feeling kind of a low grade anxiety at all times. So anyway, that being said, let's take, for example, anxiety. So you're going to say to yourself, okay, I feel kind of anxious today. Where do I feel that in my body? Okay, I'm looking within. I feel tightness in my chest. I'm feeling my whole body is a little bit clenched, but I'm feeling it the most right here in my chest and a little bit in my throat maybe. Just putting examples out there, right? But whatever's true with you, go with that. So then we're going to take that information and we are going to align it with looking at what that chakra contains. So here in the chest, that would be heart chakra, right? All right, so now we're going to go to this slide that I've created so that we can kind of look at what each chakra represents in its pure conditioned consciousness state and what the conditioned emotional experiences are of the distortion of that energy within that chakra. All right, so if we're looking at the heart chakra, the I am statement for the heart chakra is I am love. And the pure consciousness emotions contained within that chakra are I love myself enough to be conscious, self-love, self-compassion, self-allowance. Now this is not an exhaustive list or anything, but you get the basic flavor of kind of when things are flowing, when there is not distortion, when there is an openness and a movement of the energy within that energetic center. That is the experience, that is the description of the experience that one will have. So, however, now let's look at the distorted or conditioned emotional response to that chakra when you're having something that's just like off there. So then there might be experiences like self-hatred, shame, melancholy, grief, loneliness, unlovable, empty, sorrow, comparative, judgment, self-fraudulence. So using this example, okay, I'm feeling a lot of anxiety today and I'm feeling it the most in my heart chakra. All right, so which of these words, hatred, shame, melancholy, etc., that list, which of those resonates the most deeply for you in this moment? So basically, you're going to try to identify what the more nuanced and specific emotion is that you're experiencing, utilizing the body as a tool for identifying what chakra the distortion is currently existing in. Once you've gone through that process and really gotten a sense of what's going on in the body, where it is, what the most precise, nuanced emotion is that you're experiencing, then you can just recognize that distortion and examine what it's taught you. So this is also about having a sense of gratitude and appreciation for the gift that that distortion is giving you in terms of being able to recognize the conditioned belief that's no longer serving you. So let's say that, we're doing our heart chakra example here and say that today the particular emotion that resonates the most with me is shame. So shame is what's coming up for me. And then I'm looking at, okay, so what is this shame teaching me right now? What is this showing me about myself? Oh, I feel ashamed for, struggling to come up with an example right now, but I feel ashamed for not helping my sister move yesterday. Okay, so there's a belief here of I am not worthy if I am not taking care of others. I feel ashamed when I'd rather take care of myself than take care of someone else. There's a lot of layered beliefs within that, right? So unpacking each of those and looking at it, examining it, is this a belief that serves me or is this something that puts me deeper into a space of self-judgment and shame? So really kind of going into what the distortion within that particular chakra can show you about what you're doing to judge yourself, what beliefs you're holding that are no longer serving you. All right, so at that point, you want to intentionally clear that energy. So you've noticed, all right, so step number 1, where do you feel it in your body and what do you feel? Step number 2, align that with the information of the particular chakra that is where you're experiencing things. And denote for yourself what feels like the most salient of the descriptors in the conditioned emotional response section. Then number 3 is that you are going to recognize what the distortion is by looking at what the emotion is that is aligned with that, and try to uncover what conditioned beliefs are associated with that distortion. Number 4 then is you're going to intentionally clear that energy. And that might sound like, well, how the fuck do I do that, right? But really, that's the easy part. You just intend to clear it. Say to yourself, not, oh my God, yes, I'm such a bad person for not helping my sister move. Oh my God, no wonder I'm so anxious. Blah, blah, blah. No, all you're doing is recognizing the thing for what it is, saying, oh, this is a conditioned belief that I've held because of the way I was raised, or because of something society has pressured me with, or whatever it is for you. But recognizing, oh, this is not good for me. This is a belief that's no longer serving me. This puts me into a place of shame every time that I want to honor my own needs rather than taking care of somebody else. That's not really helping me anymore. So I intentionally decide to clear the energy of that response. I intentionally decide to neutralize that reaction in myself as I have recognized it for what it is, which is a distortion of my pure consciousness energy. So once we have intentionally cleared that energy, which really is as simple as making a conscious choice to do so, once you've recognized that distortion for what it is and you've examined the conditioned beliefs underlying it, you can simply make an intention to release your attachment to that pattern of reaction and to that conditioned belief. So clear the energy, and then at that point, we're going to move to dropping the story. Now, what does that mean? So what I mean by drop the story is your ego, your mind, whatever we want to call it, is a survival-based device. It is a tool that allows you not only to hold your consciousness in this specific vehicle and to experience a state of perceived separation, but it also is a survival tool. At the most basic fundamental level, it's keeping you from getting run over by a car or eaten by a cheetah or whatever would be the case. But it becomes a social survival tool in the sense that it becomes the way that we perceive ourselves as either safe or unsafe within the social environment. So, the mind is always looking for a problem to solve. It is always looking for potential trouble ahead, for the iceberg in the water. And when it does not have a problem to solve, it will come up with one. It will come up with a story for what's going on. When there's uncertainty, the mind doesn't like that, right? So it's going to try to explain what's going on with you in any way possible. If you're feeling anxiety, the ego is just hyper-vigilantly searching for what that anxiety is about. But the problem here is it's searching in the external environment, not in the internal environment. And what I mean by that is we're looking for a narrative of blame, basically. We're looking for an explanation of, I feel this way because that happened. And emotions are far more complex than that. Sometimes we're just feeling something. Sometimes we're just, just experiencing the flow of our environment and it's raising things to the surface. And if we make it, oh, well, my anxiety is because of this, then we might just lose the whole nature of what we're feeling. And we become more attached to the story and the explanation than we do to the actual felt experience. So once you've cleared this whole belief that you've identified through doing this process, the next step is to drop the whole story around it. We don't need an explanation. We don't need to go have a talk with our friend. We don't need to, it's let's not focus on needing to fix anything, but instead on just identifying where we have a conditioned belief and distortion within ourselves that's preventing us from being in the pure consciousness state of those right side of the chart emotions. All right, so we've dropped our story. And now we are going to consciously connect with the pure consciousness emotions. So that right side column on the chakra chart, connect with the right side emotions and the I am statements on the chart. So with our example, we've identified that we feel anxiety. We've gone into the heart chakra and seen that we felt shame around choosing our own needs versus helping our sister move in that moment. We've identified the conditioned belief beneath that, which is my own needs are not as valid or worthy as another person's needs. I am selfish for wanting to meet my own needs instead of helping my sister, whatever that is. So we've identified that. Then we have gone to intentionally clear the energy of that belief and that distortion. We've dropped the story around it. It's not anything about my sister anymore now. It's just, oh, I have this belief, and this experience was giving me the opportunity to recognize where I am distorting and unbalancing my own energy. So now we've come back to that full place of self-responsibility. And from that place, we are clear and we are ready to call in the experience of the pure consciousness emotions. We are ready to call in the I am statement of I am love. We are ready to connect with, let's see, what's our right here? We've got I am consciousness of I love myself enough to be conscious, self-love, self-compassion, self-allowance. So now that you've kind of cleared out that whole aspect where you were feeling all this judgment and shame around not helping your sister and, feeling selfish, meeting your own needs or whatever, now that that has unblocked, now that that is no longer distorting the experience of the energy coming into your heart chakra, you are in a much better place to step into self-compassion, to step into self-allowance of, yeah, I honored my own needs. Beautiful. I am love. I feel that. I feel that in my own heart. So 6 steps to this process. I'm going to just go through them really quickly again to make sure we kind of reinforce this and we've got it in like a solid chunk. We're going to look, number 1, at what and where do you feel in your body. Number 2, we're going to align that with the information in the chakra chart, figuring out which chakra is the one in which you're experiencing distortion, what specific nuanced emotion is associated with the experience you're currently having. And then number 3 is to recognize that distortion and examine what it's taught you. So that's where we're going to looking at what the conditioned belief is that underlies the distorted emotion that you're experiencing. All right, now number 4 is we're going to intentionally clear that energy. We've recognized the experience we're having as a distortion of pure consciousness energy created by an underlying belief, and now we are consciously clearing our attachment to that belief and the reactive behavior pattern associated with it. Number 5 is we're dropping the story. So we're no longer even attaching a narrative to it, but we're instead seeing this as solely an opportunity for a conditioned emotion response to arise within us to show us where we're holding a belief that no longer serves us. It's no longer even about the context in which this occurred. It's really just about you having an experience with your higher self that allows you to see where you are not serving yourself with the beliefs that you still hold, where you are distorting your pure consciousness energy by the beliefs you're holding. So now we've cleared our story. And at this point, number 6, we are calling in pure consciousness emotion into the chakric space we've created by clearing the distortion. And we are stepping into the I am statement associated with that chakra and to the pure consciousness emotions associated with that energetic vortex. So I hope that this has all made sense. I hope that you guys have enjoyed it and that you will use this process because it is a profound experience when you can learn to transmute and transcend the distortions that are associated with blockages in each of your chakras. It's like a very instantaneous way to take back responsibility and therefore empowerment over your own experience and to just drop like the whole ego process of seeing these things created outside yourself, and instead knowing that your experience is about you and that it's ultimately your greatest teacher in trying to move you out of distortion and into the flow of pure consciousness energy. All right, I hope you've enjoyed this video today and that you will come see me again, and bye-bye for now.